Hey guys, welcome back to Soback Sports, and I'm so back with another video. And today I wanted to start a new series where I go through each individual team in the NFL and decide what they need to do in order to get better for the following season. So today I wanted to discuss about Carolina Panthers. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot and it really helps me create content for you like this. So please subscribe. So going into Carolina's situation, it's not the best situation given that the Bears took their pick and they ended up being with the worst team in the NFL. It kind of ties their hands into what they can really do this offseason. As you can see, they have the 33rd pick, 65th pick, and the rest are kind of like irrelevant in a sense. Where, in terms of their mock draft in the first 3 rounds, they probably will, according to tankathon.com, they say that it will go with an edge rusher and a wide receiver, which are two spots that are pretty important. Given that Brian Burns is potentially um, a free agent this upcoming offseason, and he's willing to get paid right now. I think that, maybe drafting an edge rusher if he decides to walk is a really good idea. And definitely get Bryce Young some help on the wide receiver end. We saw this year that Bryce Young struggled immensely without a good wide receiver core, where he could have used a DJ Moore, for an example, and not Justin Fields in the sense, because, with any quarterback that you draft, you really need a good supporting cast. And that makes perfect sense, right? It makes the most sense. But given that the Carolina Panthers gave a haul to the Chicago Bears and forced their hand into getting Bryce Young, Bryce Young was not put in the best situation at all. And the thing is, I still believe that Bryce Young can be good. It's just that his growth is going to be stymied due to the fact that there are not as much weapons around him. And, the way you can kind of do that is by getting a wide receiver to come to Carolina. Is Carolina the best destination? Probably not. But, you got to start somewhere. And if we just go to the Carolina Panthers as a whole, let's go over here. You see, the offense, for an example. Is that a full team statistics? My bad. The offense as a whole, Bryce Young with 2,800 yards this season. Adam Thielen's their leading receiver, which is kind of, yeah, it's not that great. But overall, the team is very all over the place. It's not the best. In terms of receiving core, DJ Chark is their next, and then Jonathan Mingo. They're young receivers, but, they're not, that. And Adam Thielen was their only 1,000-yard hitting wide receiver. And that says a lot about this team and what their needs are. And in terms of their offensive line, in terms of their D-line, they have so many depth, issues when it comes to this team. Everything is, you look at this and you're kind of how are they even a team? Yes, there are some good spots, good people, Brian Burns, and the list just kind of dies down from there. So, they have to address a lot of things. Running back is a huge problem too, because Chuba Hubbard has been good, but the depth chart afterwards is kind of wonky. So what I would say is, if you want to make the best out of it, I would say the defense is okay. I feel like the defense is all right right now. It's a matter of fixing your offense, and the offense is what's going to help with Bryce Young's development. Let's take, for an example, Justin Fields, all right? I know I'm a Bears fan. I bring back Justin Fields all the time. But I'm just talking about in the lens of the situation that is at hand. Justin Fields had no weapons, right? Barely a decent amount of weapons during the 2022 season. However, he was able to utilize one of his other strengths that he never really used in college, and that was his rushing ability. I'm not saying that Bryce Young is a good rusher or anything like that. Maybe scheme towards more rushing, add a more running game, or add a run game, because adding a run game can definitely take the stress off of the quarterback in the meantime. Because this year, upcoming season, is going to be a year where it's a transitional period where you're not great and not good at and you're not terrible at the same time. So focusing on a good rushing offense, focusing on, getting a little bit of weapons like at least one or two weapons for Bryce Young. It may be in the later rounds. It may be like, through the free agency, because whoever's available, like I would give a decent amount just to get for Bryce Young's sake, because you wasted a lot just to get him. Not wasted. You gave up a lot to get him. So might as well make use of that, And in terms of the salary cap, they're not too bad. Honestly, they're 31 million is not terrible. It's like not the best. It's not like, oh, it's gonna be that, because at least use that cap space that you have to, alleviate any needs that happen in the offense. So maybe invest in a little bit of like a couple defensive positions. Maybe let's go to the depth chart again. Maybe a linebacker of some sorts if Brian Burns ends up leaving. Maybe another edge rusher in the draft. Panier's out. Like this special teams is fine. Young talent is definitely needed. You really need to dig down deep and kind of understand what teams and what players are available and coming from college, and maybe take some sleeper picks, kind of take advantage of that. And the thing is, like, you have like some veteran presence on this team, and like that. The thing is, that's why I'm kind of confused, because it's like I feel like I give some insight into this, and I feel like I don't know if they're ready yet. And that's the thing about the Carolina Panthers. They've dug themselves in a hole. Tepper has dug themselves in such a hole that it's kind of tough to go out of. But if it were up to me, I would focus on wide receivers. I would focus on a running game, and then just hope the defense. Because the thing is, with Justin Fields, the thing is, you have to know he was the guy, at that time. You have to know if Bryce Young is your guy going forward. And what do you do to do that? You add more weapons for him. You add like as much as you possibly can. Like, I don't know who Jalen Polk is from Washington, but like, given that he was in the Washington system, he could be really good. Maybe you could even, go in free agency and get some underrated wide receivers that are looking for a job, anything to help Bryce Young out this offseason. And should be the main concern for the Carolina Panthers at the end of the day, because, Bryce Young has such hope. We have so like, he's such a good person, and like, I feel so bad for him at the same time, because it's like he does not deserve like this level of like, for being picked number 1 overall and now essentially being on one of the worst teams. Like, it doesn't help his case. And he had 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He did not look good this season. But yeah, I mean, what is at the end of the day, it's like, I was reading something about here, actually. Let's go through here about like the draft needs for 2020. And a lot of the Panthers fans are literally saying stuff about like how, they gave up a lot of pieces. Like Foreman, for example, was really good for them. If they had Foreman, it would have been good for the run game. Like, that's why I'm saying run game is very important. It's so important, because if you have a decent run game, you can alleviate the stress off the quarterback, and you can build your needs afterwards. Like like your O-line is also pretty important too. And getting that offense saturated and then going on to your defense, because the defense did hold on its own at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's what I think the Carolina Panthers should do. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll love to read what you guys think. Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know. And Panthers fans, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think that you guys should do. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.